Hello everyone, this is Keith Jackson and welcome to Jack's Math Notebook. In this video, we are going to factor quadratic equations, and we have two big examples to show you how that is done. And in the first example, we have x squared minus 6x plus 8. And what we're going to do, we're just going to simply set this quadratic equation equal to 0, keeping in mind again that quadratic equation is represented by ax squared plus bx plus c. And in this case, A is 1, while B is equal to a negative 6. All right, and so we're going to keep that in mind, and 8 is equal to C. But what we're going to do in this case, because we're setting this quadratic equation equal to 0, we're going to find two numbers that multiply to 8, but at the same time, those same two numbers must add to a negative 6. And what will those numbers be? Well, here they are. We have a negative 2 times a negative 4, because a negative 2 times a negative 4 will give us a positive 8. And there it is right there. And then at the same time, that same negative 2, when you add it to that negative 4, is going to give us a negative 6. So we found our two magic numbers. And those two numbers are, again, negative 2. And so we're going to have x minus 2 right here. And we have a negative 4. And that means we're going to put an x minus 4 here. And so let us set 1 equal to 0. So let's set one of these factors right here equal to 0. Well, in order to do that, in order for x minus 2 to be equal to 0, we're just going to have to go like this. X minus 2 is equal to 0, right? And when we do that, well, to find out what the other factor is, we're just going to have to add 2 to both sides. And so we set 2 to both sides. We know that x is going to have to equal to 2 right here, because see, 2 minus 2 will give us that 0. All right, and so we know that 2 is one of our roots or one of our y-intercept. And if we do the same thing to the other one, which will be right here, x minus 4, give me a chance to erase this real quick, and I'll get that to you right away. And so now we have x minus 4, and we're going to set that equal to 0. And in order to figure out what x is, we're just going to add 4 to both sides. And so we add 4 to both sides, we will get that x is equal to 4. Okay? Because see, 4 minus 4 would give us that 0 that we need. And so the other root or the other x-intercept for this quadratic function or this quadratic equation will be 4. Okay, and we can also test to see if these two factors work. This factor right here times this factor, okay, will it give us x squared minus 6x plus 8? Will it give us that? And so let's put x minus 2 up top and x minus 4 along the side. And let's multiply everything to see if it will give us this quadratic equation again. And so let's do that. So we have x times x, which will give us x squared. X times a negative 2 will give us a negative 2x, while a negative 4 times x will give us a negative 4x, and a negative 4 times a negative 2 will give us a positive 8. And when we add a negative 4x to a negative 2x, we're going to get a negative 6x right here. And we already have our x squared here and our 8 right here, so this does work. All right, so we have the quantity of x minus 2 times the quantity of x minus 4. Okay, let's move on to our second big example, in which we have n squared minus 8n plus 12. And we're going to find two numbers that multiply to 12 while at the same time add to a negative 8. And those two numbers are a negative 6 and a negative 2, because when you multiply those two numbers together, you will get 12 that you see right here. Well, at the same time, when you add a negative 6 to a negative 2, you get a negative 8. So those numbers work. So let's go ahead and plug them into our factored form that you see right here. We'll put the negative 2 right here. So we have n minus 2. And then we'll put the negative 6 here. We have n minus 6. And we're just going to set that equal to 0. And if we apply the same notion right here, we could just say n minus 2 is equal to 0. And when we add 2 to both sides, we know that one of our roots or one of our x-intercepts will be at 2. And if we do the same thing to n minus 6, we know that n minus 6 is equal to 0, which means if we add 6 to both sides, n will equal to a positive 6. All right, and so those are our roots. We can also prove that n minus 2 and n minus 6 would give us our quadratic equation of n squared minus 8n plus 12. And let's try it out because we have n times n will give us n squared, n times a negative 2, which will give us a negative 2n, and a negative 6 times n will give us a negative 6n, while at the same time, a negative 6 times a negative 2 will give us our positive 12. And as you can see right here, we have our negative 6n plus a negative 2n. That would give us our negative 8n. And of course, we could just put our n squared here and our 12 over here, and that lets us know that it works. So our factors right here, when we factor n squared minus 8n plus 12, we will get the quantity of n minus 2 times the quantity of n minus 6 by setting it equal to 0. Okay, you have been given a lot of information. I wouldn't blame you if you need to pause the video to take a look at things or replay this video as many times you need to gain a deeper understanding of factoring quadratic equations. But in the meantime, please comment, share, like, and subscribe to Jack's Math Notebook for more content. Thank you and goodbye.